Hi there. Good evening, everyone. Michelle Riley speaking with you from North Alabama. I'm doing this live today to talk about something of great importance to Alabama notaries. We have a new law which will go into effect September 1, 2023. And I'm doing this live as a way to help get the word out to commissioned notaries so that we all can be prepared for the new law once it goes into effect. I don't do many lives. Um, I spend more time on TikTok and on Facebook, but I realize that there's a different audience on YouTube. And for something this significant, I want to make sure that I am um, broadcasting on as many social media platforms as possible because the new law is truly that important. I've nicknamed, excuse me, I've coined the term Alabama Notary Accountability Act. Um, I did that because if you were to ask me, if anyone was to ask me, what's the law really about? It is about notary accountability to the citizens of Alabama. Um, it is the first type of law like this in Alabama, to my knowledge. Prior to this, we really didn't have anything in our handbook or in our Constitution that talked in this level of detail about what happens if a notary fails to follow the laws. So it's very interesting. It was signed by Governor Ivey on June 14th of this year. I know what surprised me was how quickly it made it through the legislature. Um, when it came down to the final vote, there were only 4 senators who voted against it. Um, Senator Sam Gavan is the author of this law. When it started off as a bill, it was Senate Bill 322. And now it is called Act number 2023 548. And, those are a whole lot of numbers. And so that's why I'm like, nah, I can't remember all those numbers, but I can remember words a lot better. And so I'll be referring to it as the Alabama Notary Accountability Act. So again, Senator Gavan put forth the bill. And again, when the final voting took place, everyone was voted yes, except for Senator Josh Carnley of Coffee and Covington counties, um, Senator Tim Melson of Lauderdale and Limestone counties, Senator David Sessions of Mobile County, and Senator Jack Williams of Mobile County. Now, I mention them by name not to be critical of them. In fact, I'm curious what about this law caused them to, or this bill caused them to vote no. And I have asked notaries who reside in those counties to reach out to their representatives and ask that question. I just feel that lawmakers are more apt to respond to their constituents than someone who's not a constituent. But needless to say, even with the 4 dissenting senators, It passed. Governor Ivey signed off on it either on the 13th or the 14th of June. And again, it is scheduled to go into effect September 1, 2023. So if you're a commissioned Alabama notary, definitely mark that on your calendar to know that as of that date, there's a new sheriff in town. There are new rules, processes, obligations that need to be followed. And so over the next few weeks, my goal is to do different lives here, at least weekly lives, to talk about those changes. I just wanted to hit a little bit on how did we even get to this point? Um, why so many changes? And yes, I'll be itemizing those changes or going into more detail. Um, I don't know the exact reason why Sam Gavan made this proposal. I did ask him, and he let me know that as an elected official, when his constituents come to him with a request, and now these are my words, not his, and he feels it's a valid request, he's going to move forward with it. And so that's how we got Senate Bill 322. Um, I think now this is me speaking. I do a lot of reading about what goes on for notaries, not only in Alabama, where I am commissioned, but also in other states. And what is clear to me is right now in America, in all 50 states, we're seeing more and more fraud. And fraud involving real estate is really on the rise right now. And as most of you know, as commissioned notaries, we are frequently called upon to be at the signing table and to play an active role whenever property is being sold or purchased or refinanced. And so, we are, if we're not careful, we can find ourselves um, un, unwilling parties to fraudulent transactions. I'm sure you've heard of the cybercrime that is also on the rise right now. And then there are times when notaries are not the victims, but are the cause of fraud. So, again, I believe that is one of the reasons why Senate Bill 322 was passed with very little opposition because of the times we are living in now and the number of incidents of fraud that have taken place not only in Alabama, but in other states as well. Another reason why I think the Alabama Notary Accountability Act of 2023 uh, passed is because up until now, there has been no mandatory training for notaries in Alabama. You heard me right. Let's say you just moved to Alabama and you wanted to be a notary. In most counties, you could become a notary for the first time on your lunch break. In most counties, as long as you have proof of residency in Alabama in the form typically of a driver's license or a utility bill, and you purchase a $50 notary bond, and you go to the judge of probate's office, in most, not all, in most counties, you can walk out of the probate office within 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, with your notary commission in hand. Um, so yeah, it's that easy. And then with that commission in hand, you can now purchase very easily your notary supplies, your seal, um, your embosser or your stamp, um, and you're able to notarize signatures. And I know you're thinking, okay, Michelle, what about training? Again, um, today, currently, the state of Alabama does not provide training. In 2019, they did prepare the Secretary of State's office. Thank you very much. Um, Put out a notary handbook, which has been very helpful to notaries and especially to me, who is also I'm also a notary instructor, and that has helped. But again, no pressure at all or no requirement for new notaries to enroll in a formal training program that goes over things like the different types of notarizations, how to administer an oath, when not to notarize a signature, that sort of thing. So that I feel contributed to the need to revise our notary laws. Um, Someone said to me today, well, the National Notary Association offers training, and it does. I believe they still offer Notary Essentials, which is a class that I took back in 2014 or 2015. I believe I enjoyed it. It helped me a lot coming from a state that didn't offer any training. But I know at that time, the training was not specific to the state of Alabama. Now, think of it, with 50 states, it's kind of hard for any organization to provide training for everyone. Now, that may have changed. So they may have something Alabama specific that's available. But again, at that time, they did not. And that's really what I think notaries in every state need is training that relates to their specific laws. And so some Alabama notaries, however, would sign up for their the NNA signing agent training and certification program, which is very good and is considered an industry norm at this time to go through. But again, it applies to all 50 states. Now, Notaries for Alabama, which is the company that I started in 2013, we have been offering Alabama specific notary training. It's a 4-hour course called Notary Basics Training for Alabama Notaries, but it's not required. And prior to COVID, I would hit the road and go to different counties to conduct the training. But I can tell you this, most of the time there were empty seats in the room. And so now with the new law, training will be mandatory. That's just one of the things, and we'll talk more about that. For those who are curious, as of 2022, according to the NNA, National Notary Association census, there were 70,140 commissioned notaries. And that was an increase of 3,690 notaries over the last census. So every 5 years, I believe it is, the NNA reaches out to the different states and asks them, hey, if you don't mind, my words, not theirs, how many commissioned notaries do you have? And in 2017, Alabama had 66,450 notaries. We now have 70,140. That was as of 2022. It remains to be seen with these new changes to the law if that number will stay the same, if it will go up, or if it will decrease. I took a look at states that implemented similar types of laws, like the Alabama Notary Accountability Act. And um, what that we've seen in the past is that there will be a decline. That's what was seen in other states. So that'll be interesting. So again, how Alabama get to the point where it needed such a major overhaul to its laws? And I'm saying due to an increase in fraud, due to years where there was no training requirement. I mentioned the number of notaries. I don't have this information in front of me right now, but the notaries now, I believe there's about a third of Alabama notaries have been commissioned for less than 4 years. So these are new notaries with less experience. And I tell you, I shudder to recall the notarizations that I performed the first year I was commissioned. Remember, there was no training and no handbook at that time. And I'll admit, there's I definitely performed some notarizations that I would not perform today based on what I know today. And then the handbook, although we appreciate having that handbook, um, it is very, there's a lot of detail that is missing from the handbook. And so I expect with the new laws that go into effect September 1st, that we will see a revised notary handbook come out, which should be very helpful to all commission notaries. I'm going to end with one thing, which I feel will be a good takeaway for those of you who will be watching this video. So today is June 24th, Saturday night, June 24th. You may want be asking yourselves, okay, Michelle, what do I need to do now? What I know that it goes into effect September 1st, but what should I be doing now? So I want you to know that today and up until September 1st, it is going to be business as usual. What I mean by that is if you are a brand new notary and you just got your bond and you were planning on going to the probate office on Monday to get commission, you can still do that. The old way of obtaining your commission is still in place. If you are an existing notary public and it is time for you to renew your commission this month, June, July, and August. Again, it's business as usual. You don't need to do anything different. I think this is just me. Our probate offices have their work cut out for them. And I'll get more into that when I talk about the new changes that are coming down the pipeline. And so the turnaround time for things like getting your commission, renewing your commission, getting that Alabama marriage license processed, it might take a little longer. Um, I'm thinking only because I have an idea of all the things they need to prepare for September 1st. And I say that to say those of you notaries who need to renew or get your commission for the first time, don't wait. Go ahead, don't put it off, get down there as soon as you can, because again, you may find that the wait is a little longer. What else is going on now? The Alabama Probate Judge Association and the Alabama Law Institute, two entities, separate entities. They will be responsible for developing the new mandatory training for notaries. And so that is going to require some work, and we'll talk more about that next time. And then I want to speak to those of you who are commission notaries. You haven't notarized anything in years. You've just been hanging on to it because the commission, because it's nice to have. I want to encourage you to familiarize yourselves with the upcoming changes and decide, should you stay commissioned, because the stakes are much higher now. The the ramifications of making mistakes and not following the laws are greater. And so remember, before you didn't have to worry about taking a test. You didn't have to worry about background checks. You didn't have to worry about the cost. It is very affordable to get a commission, a notary commission in Alabama. All those things and more will be changing on September 1st, 2023. And so I know me personally, if I wasn't using my seal on a regular basis, I would see no need to keep an active commission. Um, so I think I'm going to put a pin in it for right now and just end with how did Alabama get to the point where our lawmakers felt that the notary laws needed to be overhauled, and what you should be doing now leading up to September 1st. Um, the next time we get together, we'll get deeper into, okay, we know what the commissioning process looks like today. What's it going to look like on September the 1st? I encourage you, if you have questions, feel free to type them in chat. Even if you're watching a replay, I'll make every effort to respond to each question. All right, so what if you didn't know about the law changes? You want to read it for yourself. Good news. I did type the link in the description for this video. So just click on that link or cut and paste it, and you can download a PDF of the law that was signed by Governor Ivey. And I'm also hosting free Zoom meetings for commission notaries here in the state. There's a link for that. I believe I posted a link for that. And you can register for that, because that's where we're asking questions and discussing the real implications of these changes. I hope you found this information helpful. Again, my name is Michelle Riley, the owner of Notaries for Alabama. I am also a commissioned notary and a notary instructor. If you'd like more information about me, go to notariesforalabama.com. If you want information about our training classes that we offer, go to trainalabama.com. I hope to see you back here for the next live.